Hello, this is RICKY, the Android Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Android Weekly / Android Q&A. We go over all the latest news that happened during the week and answer all of your questions live. If this is your first time tuning in, the first thing we do is go over the weekly news that happened during this week, and you can see that in the title down below. However, if you're watching it live, you have a special treat, and that is you can ask absolutely anything in the comment section down below, and I will answer it before the end of this video. So if you're watching live, just go ahead and ask your question in the comment section down below, and I will get to it by the end of the video. If you're not watching live, well, then just email me at asktheandroidguy@gmail.com right here, and make sure the subject is question. Hopefully I will answer it next week. Every week I take some questions and I answer them every week. However, if you want it guaranteed to be answered, then you want to watch live. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the first article. So the first article is, yes, Apple sales and revenue are declined. Now, there's been a lot of different talk back and forth between all of this, but point and simple, it's a bad thing. That's just it. You can try to sugarcoat it. Companies wish they had Apple's revenue. 10 billion in profit. Companies wish that. You know what companies don't wish? 4 billion less in profit. That's what companies don't wish. So that is what really is to be said here, that Apple is down year over year by a great percentage. And it's the main thing is that almost all of their products are down. You have the iPhones being down for the first time ever. You have the iPads continuing to go down. The iPad Pro and the iPad Pro 9.7 inch did nothing for the sales. They have gone down still. You also, now to be fair, the 9.7 just got the tail end of it. It was only a week out this quarter, which we're getting the earnings from. But the 12-inch one didn't do anything. As well as what else was down? The iPhone, the iPad, and the MacBooks, or well, just Macs in general. They put all their computing revenue together. So basically everything was down, and that's the main thing over here. One of the biggest things is that the revenue was down, of course. Yes, they are down compared to how many there were. But what you want to keep in mind as we go to compare later, that they sold 51 million iPhones. So that's what you want to keep in mind for later. Okay, but yeah, so the company is down year over year. And this is pretty bad for Apple since it's the first time it's happened in a long time. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, I mean, if you know anything about Apple, you know, they can, I mean, they have so much money. They can buy Tesla, they can buy all these different companies and all this kind of stuff. So really, it's not that big of a deal. They can just buy a company and become profitable. It's not that simple, first of all. Second of all, they can't just buy any company. They actually have only about 5 to 10 billion with a B that they can spend on actual purchases. Now, what I mean by that is Apple only has so many cash flow within the U.S. and even less cash flow in one country outside of the U.S. So they have lots of different money here and there, but they do not have a lump sum amount in one specific country that they can move. Now, what I mean by that is you know, Apple has to have operational costs, everything that goes with that, ordering costs, everything that they need to do has to be accounted for within their money as well. And for a company like Apple, that will take its toll, especially with their new campus being built. That's another expense that they're doing. So again, they have expenses that are going there. So you have to keep that in mind. So with this, though, it really is a much lower revenue than they've ever had in comparing year over year. The one thing that I will say is up, and that should be noted, is that the revenue is up by 1 billion on Apple services. So while this wasn't enough to save them all their other things that are down year over year, Apple services such as App Store, iTunes Store, Apple Pay, iCloud, and of course probably the biggest contributor to that is Apple Music, is up. So that's a really great thing for Apple to have, that is working for them. And yes, their stock fell to under $100. It's been a little while since that happened as well. So it's something you just have to keep in mind. So being down 10 million iPhone units year over year is obviously not a good thing, and that's what we're basically seeing. So remember when I said they sold about 51 million handsets? Well, Samsung is on the up. Yes, they have actually done very well, mainly their mobile division, which is 42% up in terms of operation profit. So they're actually up 40% in profit, which is really huge. Um, they are reported of 24.2 in mobile revenue alone, which again is really big that they got that much just in mobile revenue. And the biggest thing, of course, is that they are up 81.9, so say 82 million handsets. So comparing to Apple, they sold about 30 million more units. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind with this is that Samsung does not make the same revenue or profit, rather, more importantly, on each handset as Apple does. Apple gets more per handset compared to Samsung because Samsung sells less expensive ones. However, selling 30 million more definitely is a huge leap, and you can expect that a lot of these came from Apple as well. Simply because cheaper phones aren't really getting too big, and really that's where it would come from. A lot of the percentage would come from iPhone users. And that's the biggest thing, is that the S7 and S7 Edge has seemed to attracted iPhone users more than other past Samsungs has. And the truth is just in the pudding. It's not that, more mid-rangers are selling or more inexpensive phones are selling. It's really the fact that a lot more phones are actually being switched from Apple to Samsung, at least for this quarter. Does that mean that Apple won't gain them right back in 6 months? Possibly. Maybe they'll get sick of their S7s, want to go back to an iPhone when the iPhone 7 comes out. Absolutely, that's a complete possibility, and we'll check it out if it does happen when that happens. But as of right now, the shift has been made from Apple users are moving towards the Galaxies, and that's what we're seeing. Now, in other news, we also got a couple of other things. Actually, the first thing I'll go over is this one, and that is we finally get a release date for HTC 10, and it looks like it'll be released May 13th. Now, that's a really important one just for the fact of with HTC, we really want to see something big from them. We're hoping the HTC 10 will be it. We have the G5 in our studio now, and we have been told already that the HTC 10 will come on its way as well. So we're going to have lots of reviews for these devices. I'm really hoping that we get a really great, solid phone, but we'll have to wait and see if the HTC 10 can bring HTC back to their prominence. From what I've heard in other reviewers and the reviewers that I know, it's great, but is it good enough to get them out? Most say no. We'll have to wait and see. I'm really excited to review the HTC myself, so I really hope that we see a huge improvement from them. All right, in other news we got this week, the G3 is coming in September. So this is from a tipster that says, yes, that the G3 will come out in IFA September 2nd through 7th. Now this is kind of interesting, namely because we expect the Note to be out before this. We do not expect the Note to be at IFA. We expect it to come out before this, and I'm really curious if this will indeed happen. Quite frankly, I think that they might announce it at the same time as the Note, and then it's just released weeks after. I do not believe it will be announced at IFA, but we will have to wait and see. IFA is September 2nd through the 7th. So typically Samsung would announce their new devices on the 1st, which is kind of great because that's my birthday. So yeah, that would be really funny for me personally. But I'm really kind of curious to see what will happen and what we'll see on September 1st, the greatest day ever. All right, so that is what we're seeing. Oh, and then in the same report, there also was that there will be a luxury version in March. Frankly, I really don't care about that just because, I mean, who's going to buy the luxury one? Not that many people. Speaking of watches, though, Google actually did a really great thing, and that is that they actually came up with this concept called Google Mode. Google Mode bands. And the idea behind the mode band is that it's really simple to take off and take on new watch bands. So basically with this, all you do is you leave the pin inside, and then you just have bands that you can swap out very easily and simply to just put in there. And that's really great. I mean, and the idea is that, you know, I could even use this with my Gear S2 if I wanted to, the classic version, because as long as you get a millimeter band that's the same size, then you can put on any smartwatch that has that capability. So I, for one, am really excited about this, and I just love how easy it is to get it on and off. And I feel that watch makers haven't done a good job of this, quite frankly. And this is, you know, technology moving forward. And quite frankly, I think every watch manufacturer in the world should do this. Why not? Why not have a simple and easy way to change out bands? It only means that you're selling more bands. It just makes more sense. And finally, the last bit of news this week is one that I cannot deny talking about, and that is probably the biggest game ever to come to the Gear VR has come out, Minecraft. Now, this is really great because this is one thing I was talking about with a friend of mine this past week. And I said that, you know, he was arguing like, oh man, Samsung has so many VRs out now, but, you know, like they gave them all away. I'm like, yeah, they did. But here's the thing. Now they have a platform, and you figure Samsung sold 10 million S7s their first month, right? You figure at least half of that was done with pre-orders in the first 2 weeks of sales, right? At least 5 million. So now developers suddenly have a platform with 5 million users. Besides, let's just say 1 million, maybe from the year before, whoever bought the Gear, right? Whoever bought the Gear VR the year before, say add another million to that. Which means now they have like, oh, I can develop for this platform because I have about 5 million plus users that will buy my product. And if I sell my product for about $7 and even 1/5 or 1/6 of those buys it, well then that's $7 million. That's a good reason to develop. And that's what Samsung did really great. And that's why we're seeing companies now like Minecraft and all these different developers like, oh shit, we have some users now. We should develop for this platform so we can go to it. And I have said this from the beginning, and I definitely maintain it. I think every single game developed for the Oculus Rift will come to the Gear VR simply because that's where your numbers are. If you want to sell as a developer, you're going to go where your numbers are, and your numbers are with the Gear VR. You have more owners of Gear VR than you will have of any other virtual reality system coming out this year. Think about that. You have at least about 5 million users for the Gear VR. Let's say 6. You can probably say by the end of the year, Samsung might get another 2 to maybe even 4 million, right? So that's 10 million users of Gear VR. There's not one virtual reality system that will come close to that. I would say they would be lucky to sell 3 million Vives, 3 million Oculus Rifts, or 3 million PlayStation VR. PlayStation VR will be the most sold for sure, but it still, I believe, will not hit the 3 million mark. I'd be surprised if it does. I'm buying it, but I really do not know how many others will. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think this was a smart idea? And is this now becoming the fruit of Samsung's labor, coming out with some big heavy hitters like Minecraft? And this is a full version of Minecraft. It's not a watered down version. It's a full version of Minecraft. The exact same game you would play on your PC, on your PS4, on your Xbox is on the Gear VR now. So that's really great. Alright guys, now we're going over the news. Let's get to the questions. Again, we're going to go over the questions that were emailed to me during the week. And if you have a question you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section down below. I see a few questions already being asked. So just feel free to ask it down below and we will get to it before the end of the show. Alright. The first question comes from Angelica. And she asked, she's having really issues with her Galaxy Note 4. Her Galaxy Note 4 is giving her so many issues. And it's gotten to the point where basically it just is causing so many issues. Um, and here's the thing. So she sent me a screen capture, and it got stuck on the downloading to a computer uh, situation, basically. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of different things that could have happened. It definitely seems like it had a huge defect. But here are the solutions that I would want you to take to try to get around this. Now, the first thing you do is when you turn it on, hold volume up, the home button, and the power button all at the same time. This should get you into your main menu. Now, the next part is going to be a little bit harsher, but you might have to do it. The next part will be wiping out your entire phone. So you're going to get a menu. It's going to look similar but different to the screenshot you sent me. And you're going to just move down and basically just go to the section that says wipe your phone, factory data reset. And then you're going to click wipe cache as well. You hit yes on both of those parts. You move up and down with the volume rocker and you select with the power button in this menu. Once this is done, what you're going to do is simply one thing. And that is restart your phone, and hopefully now that this factory reset the phone, this will be back to your regular standard phone when you first bought it. Now, unfortunately, this means you will lose everything. But since your phone's not functioning, I'm assuming you would want this more than not having it. So that would be my suggestion. Another suggestion is I'm not sure where you live, but if you happen to live in the U.S., you can go to a Best Buy, and they could probably flash the phone, meaning put the regular software on it and fix it then and there. Hopefully, one of those two things will help you. If not, try emailing me again, and I'll see if there's anything else I can think of. All right, the next one is from Melanie. I want to say that's Melanie. So with Melanie, she went from an iPhone to an Android. She's seen all my videos since then, and she got the Galaxy Note Edge. Now, the problem is that she woke up one Tuesday morning and got a notification that her SD card is blank or unsupported file system. She called Verizon, she called SanDisk, and basically that everything she had in there was lost, which is obviously the worst thing that you can normally experience. You're so discouraged at this point that you're thinking about going back to an iPhone. So my question is, and I think the point maybe only to answer, is there any way possible to get the pics back from the SD card onto a phone? So there's almost for sure no way to get the memory back. Now the reason why I say that is because there are recovery companies that have huge machines that can get memory from a wiped SD card. However, and I'm not exaggerating on this, they cost anywhere from $200 to $500 to recover your data. So it can be very expensive. So yeah, that's the thing you have to realize, that it can be very expensive to get that data back. So it really is more so if one's around you, and if it's worth it to you to get the back. Now here's the thing. Unfortunately, it was your SD card. Most likely you had a either defective SD card, which is possible, absolutely, but more likely you had a slow memory card. Unfortunately, if the Verizon personnel did not tell you about this, you should have a high-speed memory card, one that goes over 40 megabits per second. Now, if you had a memory card that had that, then you would not have an issue typically. However, if you had a memory card slower than that, well, your phone is going way faster than your memory can handle. And yes, it does have the ability to wipe out all your pictures on the memory card. It's a reason why Samsung on the Note 5 had no SD card for that very reason. Another thing I do recommend for you, because it's your pictures that you were really worried about, on Android, you have a full unlimited backup for your photos called Google Photos that is usually pre-installed, but sometimes you can download it, and it's free. And basically, every time you get into a Wi-Fi location, it backs up every single photo you have, and it's unlimited backup. So before you think about going back to an iPhone, this gives you unlimited backup, as where your iPhone would only give you 5 gigs. So that enough, I would say, is definitely a reason to stay, but hopefully one of those things will help you out in your endeavor. All right, and then the last question that was asked during the week. Again, if you have a question you want to answer, want me to answer, just ask it in the comment section down below, and I will answer it shortly. So Rodrigo asked, how long does a sealed battery last on a phone before it needs to be replaced? Is it a bad idea to buy a phone with sealed batteries if phone more than once a year? Or if you plan on keeping the phone for more than 1 year? Also, I just got the Samsung fast wireless charger. Do you recommend wirelessly charging the phone overnight, or should I disable the fast wireless charging so it charges it slower so it does not hurt the battery as much? Well, the regular wireless charging cannot hurt it. That's how I charge my phone every single night overnight. So if you want to charge your phone overnight, use wireless charging. However, you're talking about fast wireless charging. Although there is nothing to support this, there's not been enough time to figure this out. I personally would still not use my fast wireless charging for overnight charging. I have a regular wireless charger for my overnight charging, and I have my fast wireless charger for my office and for my living room. So if I'm charging it when I need to go out soon, I use my fast wireless charging. If I wanted to charge it when I want to go to sleep, I use my regular wireless charging. Now you can fix this, as you said, by disabling the fast wireless charger. That is personally what I would do, or I would simplify my life and get a regular wireless charger so I can charge it overnight. Hopefully that helps you out. Alright guys, let's find out what you guys have been asking in the comment section down below. Again, any question you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section down below, and I'm going to answer them all right after this drink. Alright, so let's see. What is your opinion on the LG Stylo 2? I quite frankly have not tested it out yet, so I cannot say what my feelings are yet. However, if it does come to T-Mobile, I think it'll be a great device. I thought the Stylo 1 was a great device and definitely one that a lot of people should have bought. So yeah, I think the Stylo 2 would be a great addition. Unfortunately, I do not have the physical testing yet done for anything like a device like that. We might be trying to get some more mid-range and entry-level phones as this year progresses. Can you do an insurance claim on a cracked screen on T-Mobile? Yes, you can. You can absolutely do it. If you have insurance from them, I think they charge you the standard fixing a phone, which I believe with them is about $200. Off the wall question, which is better system, the PS4 or the Xbox One? Dude, why are you trying to get me into a fight with people? You know, whichever one I say, someone's going to say something different in the comment section. Alright, I'll answer this because I have made my decision a long time ago. So let me explain it. You said what's the better system? And here's the thing. PS4 is without a doubt the better gaming system. Xbox One is the better entertainment system. So that's the key. The PS4, there's no question, it is better in every way performance-wise compared to the Xbox One. It moves faster. You can test it. You can see it moves faster in every single way. It is better graphics, better frame rate, better everything in that aspect, okay? So when it comes to the performance of gaming, the PS4 is easily better. However, what if I want a home entertainment system? What if I want to be able to communicate back and forth with my TV, switch from my TV to my Xbox, switch it with, be able to stream things very simply and easily from my Windows PC into another room with Xbox? That is the benefit of Xbox. It is clearly the better entertainment system. But in terms of a gaming system, sorry, there is no arguing that. It is the PS4. Now, I will say this, controller is definitely a preference. I have many friends that swear by the Xbox controller, and I completely understand that. I, for one, have always loved the PlayStation controller because that's what I was raised on, you know? I went from, as a kid, the Super Nintendo to the PlayStation controller. I never felt a reason to get Xbox. I played it over my friends' houses, but I have never the first Xbox 360 and Xbox One, I've never felt the need to get an Xbox. Why? Because I have a high-end PC. So any exclusive that would normally be on the Xbox ends up on the PC. So I don't lose out on anything. And that's the main reason why I would never get an Xbox, is because any games that I can play on an Xbox, I can play on a PC down the road. But I can't do that with a PS4. PS4 exclusives are exclusive. You don't get that on a PC or an Xbox. So that is why I would choose PlayStation. Now, we'll hear a bunch of stuff in the comments section down below, and it's going to be all your fault. Alright. Let's go. There are so many reviewers who say that the G5 feels cheap. What are your thoughts? So, I came in holding the G5 thinking what you just said, right? So when everyone said, like, everyone was like, oh man, the G5 feels plastic, it's not really metal, and all this kind of crap. And I was like, man, that really sucks, right? And then I finally got mine. And I would say it feels better than people give it credit for. I think no one in their right mind will be doing the battery removal on a continuous basis. That is a horrible system to get it out. It is not simple. You have to like strain pull it and you feel like you're gonna break it. It is not a good system. They need to refine that, definitely. It should have been with another latch in the inside to make it more easy, and it's not a good system in my opinion. That should have been ironed out the kinks more, especially on how much the LG G5 means to the company, how much they need it. So that's the main thing. But I do not feel that it feels cheap because of this. Are the days of removable batteries numbered? Yes, absolutely. The days of removable batteries are completely numbered. Here's the facts, guys. Here's the facts. You want to know why Samsung went away from the removable battery? Less than 5% of users ever bought removable batteries on Samsung smartphones. Less than 5%. They were a waste of money to the company. That's it. That's the big secret. They were a waste of money. Less than 5% of people ever bought the replacement battery or the extra battery. That's it. That's why. Now, some of us were that extra 5%. I, for one, did buy it on my Note 4 and I bought it on my Note 3. But I was in the minority. And so are most of the people that still complain about removable battery. Because although many people say they wanted it, they never did it. So yeah. Can the S Pen work on the S7? No, it cannot. You cannot use the S Pen on the S7. However, you can use the C Pen. So for those of you who don't know, Samsung for a couple of years now has made a C Pen. There's been different iterations of them. But basically the whole idea behind the C Pen was the fact that you could actually have a very narrow tip stylus, like a very narrow tip stylus, and you can use it on the S series. Now, it has no functionality compared to the S Pen, so you can't do any highlighting or anything like that, nothing like that. But what you can do is just have a fine tip stylus. That's all that it is, and the C Pen has been out in a couple different iterations. You had the very inexpensive one that went from the S3 was when it started. So you do have that one. And then you've had a couple different iterations. The best one I would say is the one from Cross, the pen maker. They have a Cross pen on one side and they have the C Pen on the back. It was only sold in Europe, however you could get it online, and yeah. Hey, what's up, man? How have you been? How is your health? We need a review of V10 Marshmallow. I just haven't found the need to really review V10 Marshmallow. For one, I have to manually install the software, so that's a whole nother thing too. Um, so here's the thing. For my health, thank you for asking. As of right now, I still do not know what is going to happen. I saw a specialist this past week, but he seemed more like he just wanted money, unfortunately. He was one of those doctors that was just kind of like, oh, you need surgery. You should have surgery. Just have surgery. No other talk. Well, do you think we should do another scan? No, just have surgery. I'm like, but I want to talk about this. I don't want to jump to surgery. So yeah, so on that front, I'm going to see my regular doctor this week, and so we'll see what will happen there. Xbox One. See, are you excited about Captain America: Civil War? I am very excited about it. Me and 10 other friends, or sorry, 9 other friends, are going to go see it this Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Coast time, and we will have our reviews posted that night. So I will be posting a video that night, Thursday night, on it. I'll post a regular review and possibly a spoiler review the next morning. So stay tuned for those. After this, I'm actually filming my review for Ratchet and Clank movie, as well as Keanu. So both of those reviews will be up later tonight on my other channel, The Mainstream Movie Guy. Okay, does PS4 have more offline gaming than Xbox One? I do not know the answer to that, but PS4 excels at offline gaming. It's more that, Xbox One, that's the main thing. Xbox Live has always been king on online gaming, so I would assume so, but I do not know the answer to that. So I will not pretend to. Can you explain the importance of megapixel on a smartphone? Samsung went lower on their megapixels, but their camera brings in more light. So, no, they didn't. They did not lower their megapixels, but most people don't understand what they did actually. So, what they did is they went with the technology that Canon developed. So, 12 megapixels, another 12 megapixels. That's essentially what Samsung did. They have 2 layers of 12 megapixels, which they called dual pixel. So here's the thing. You can say 24 technically. So they didn't lower the megapixels, but the way they're explaining it makes you think it does. So here's the thing. With the dual pixel technology, what Samsung did is typically half of the sensor does color and does color and light. The other half of the sensor does focus. So what Samsung did is they now have one full sensor doing low light and color, and they have one full sensor doing focus. However, quite frankly, I would say that it focuses more on low light and focus, and the color kind of got left out. I feel like the color is not as good compared to the past phones, and that's my opinion. And you can check out the comparisons on the Note 5 versus the S7. You see what I mean. So they did not effectively lower the megapixels. But what is the importance of megapixels? Let's begin with that. So here's the thing. Megapixels, the bigger it is, the more you can crop a photo and the more you can stretch a photo. That is it. The megapixels are how big the photo is. That's all the megapixels are. They do not mean anything else but that. Now, what that does mean, though, is you will have more detail when you have more megapixels. So that's the idea behind megapixels. Is more megapixels, you should have more detail, especially when you crop. So what do I mean by that? Well, say I'm not in this entire screen right now, right? So say if you just wanted me from here to here. Well, then you take me and you stretch me to be the size of the full screen. If I have more megapixels on that, then it will be clearer. So that's the idea behind it. That's the best explanation I can give you for megapixels. Are they important? Well, yeah, again, you can have more detail by having more megapixels, but what if it wasn't clear when you took it? Well, that's focus. What if the color wasn't good? Well, that's color reproduction. What if your low light wasn't good? Well, that's aperture. That's, all these other things. So, is megapixels the most important thing? No, but they are important. And I feel that so many times we get they're not important at all or they're the most important thing. And the truth is, it's more in the middle. Um, are modular phones ever going to be a reality? I feel the G5 was the closest, but not executed properly. That's a great question. Would you say that modular phones are the future? I think they will be. I think Google's Project Aria is another thing that we'll see, come to fruition. But quite frankly, I never think they'll be mainstream. I think they're going to be more of a Linux kind of thing. So Linux is used by, the geeks of the world. All of us nerdy, geeky people will use Linux, but that's like 1% to 5% of the people in the world. So I do not feel that modular will ever be mainstream personally. I don't feel that it'll happen. Could it? Absolutely, but I feel that is one thing that companies don't like. You're not going to be as profitable if you're modular. And to try to convince a company to go against that is difficult. What was your all-time favorite game when you were younger? My all-time favorite game when I was younger, probably, if I had to say one game I remember clearly in my childhood, it was more in my teens actually. It was like, no, I was still a kid. I was in my early teens because it was before 2000, so I had not graduated middle school yet. So Final Fantasy VII was probably one of my, wow games. Like that was just like it had everything. Another one right up there would be Metal Gear Solid. If we're going to Super Nintendo, Mario Kart was a big one. GoldenEye was another one. Those were the games that, molded me. Counter-Strike when I was on PCs. But yeah, so those were the games that were really in my childhood. Do you really think Samsung will come out with a dual edge Note 6? I don't, but who knows at this point? That's a rumor, so you have to take it with a grain of salt. Possible? Anything's possible. But as of right now, I still don't believe it. I have a Samsung Smart TV. What's a good reason to buy Android TV? Um, a better interface? A better interface would probably be the best thing. Also, so I personally uh, like the ability to watch things like Google Movies. So I buy Google Movies. That's the way I buy digital movies. If I buy digital movies, it's on Google Movies, and that plays a lot better when it's on Android TV comparing to streaming it from your phone. So yeah, that's the main reason I would personally get it. That's not going to be everyone, of course, but that's the reason I would. Do you think LG will keep the modular design or make it better? I think they will not be the same for the V12 or the V11, whatever comes out next. I think it will not be the same. I think they're going to go back on that, to be honest, because they said that these modular designs will work with the next device. I don't believe that's going to be true because there's no way in hell that they're going to make their V10 with that small of a battery, or their V10 successor with that small of a battery. I don't think these designs are going to work. That's my opinion. We'll see what comes out. Any news on the next generation Moto X? When is it coming out? I would probably say it's going to come out towards the summer. That's when Motorola typically has their new phones. Are these giveaways of mobile phones real? Please explain. I'm not sure what you mean by giveaways of mobile phones. Are you talking about when I do a giveaway? When I do a giveaway, yes, it's real. I've given away different devices before. We only gave away our first smartphone last Christmas, so I don't think, or was that Christmas, or was that the holiday time, or was that on February? See, my giveaways are typically in the holiday times, and also our anniversary, which is February. Those are the two times I do giveaways, and when I give them away, I give them away. Um, can you game with a controller with the included OTG cable? You can with a PS4 or a PS3 controller. For an Xbox, I do believe you need to root it. I don't think there's any way without rooting it that you can use it as is. Um, will HTC make the next Nexus 7? I'm guessing you mean the Nexus tablet, which would be the Nexus 10. Yeah, because we only had the Pixel, the Pixie, the Pixel. We had the Nexus Pixel last year, right? Yeah. So yeah, that would be it. Will they make it? Probably. Yeah, I would say probably. When is NVIDIA releasing a new GPU? I'm waiting for the price of the 980 to drop down. Yeah, I just got the 970 GTX overclocked personally. But yeah, that 980, it's not going down. Probably in the summer, although I think is when you'll see the next one. How old are you? I am 29 years old. This year I will be 30. I look younger, right? Tell me I look younger. I love you not to get away though. That's cool, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Uh, why don't you just use Kodi? Free movies. I do use Kodi. I do use Kodi, actually. If a movie to me is worth buying, I will buy it. I do believe in supporting the system for movies that are that good. So, if it's a movie I really don't give a shit about, sure, why not use Kodi? I use Kodi more for TV shows personally. Um, but yeah, could I see you using Kodi for movies? Absolutely. But if it's a movie that I would say that, you want to have for like, like in a movie like The Avengers, that is definitely a movie worth buying. A movie like Star Wars, The Force Awakens, movies like Deadpool, those are movies that I feel are worth purchasing because I support those studios and I love the product enough to buy it. And that's how I see buying movies. Whatever you see, great for you. I always say teach their own when it comes to that. I understand there's people that don't want to buy anything, screw the system, all that kind of stuff. But I believe in supporting the ones that you really like. Please do a Tabpro S review. I would love to, but unfortunately Samsung never sent me one. And that is a product that's a little out of the price range to buy, especially compared to the amount of views that it'll get. It's all about the amount of views compared to what buying it to see if a product is worth us buying in the studio. Or else, we hopefully rely on companies sending us those products. Do you think the LG G5 360 camera is a good buy? I personally do not, because from what I've heard, it's more of a panorama view instead of a global sphere view. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, if you look up or down, it's not complete, which doesn't give me the full experience. I personally am going to get the Gear 360 when it comes out from Samsung. That one does the full sphere. That's why. Are edge screens comfortable to hold Note 6 Edge or not Edge? Personally, I feel that edge screens are good to hold overall. I do feel that you should have it with the case though, because I feel with the case you don't feel a difference in holding it. However, without a case, that's when it does feel a little uncomfortable with the edge screen. Which battery pack should you say is the better for the S7? Mophie's or Samsung's? That's a good question, actually. So here's the thing. Mophie will charge much quicker, but the Samsung one will never damage your battery. For anyone that's ever used Mophie for a long period of time, you know your battery life sucks outside of the Mophie. And that's because your Mophie has damaged your battery. You've overcharged it over time. Whereas the Samsung one, since it's wireless charging, it won't overcharge it. Quite frankly, I don't like either one. I don't like battery pack cases. I prefer to have just a portable battery pack, fast charging one, right then and there, plug it in for about 20 minutes, and I'm good to go. That's what I used the Samsung one. It was a what was it? A 3000 or 3500 milliamp one, slim silver one that came out with the S6. I have about two of them. I just use them when I need them. I think it's a much better way. You look younger. Thank you, Danny. Thank you. You're the man. I won a giveaway from you before. I won the Samsung battery pack. I use it almost every day. Yeah, see, that's the battery pack that I was talking about. That's the battery pack. Um, can I use Android Beam on my Samsung Galaxy Tab 3 to my S7? No, you cannot use the Beam. I'm not sure if you can use Wi-Fi Direct on it though, Kevin. Try to see if you share like a photo, can you, when you hit the share button, does Wi-Fi Direct come up? If Wi-Fi Direct does come up, check out my video on how to use Wi-Fi Direct, and you can transfer over everything that way much quicker than anything else you can use. I use Business Calendar app from for the past few days. It hasn't been syncing my single agendas to my other devices. Can you help me figure out what happened? I have not used my business calendar personally, so I do not know how its sync happens. I mean, have you installed it on every device? And maybe it's a default account that you have to change to make it the one that you have across all your devices. Those are the only things that I could say to help without, yeah. I skipped your question, sorry. I answered the NVIDIA one. That's the only one I see, Eric, that you put. So I did not skip your question. Should I get the Surface or Tabpro S? I would personally still get the Surface, just because you can get a better version of the Surface. So that's my thing. I would personally get the Surface, just because it seems like overall you can get a better version of it, whereas the Tab Pro S you can only get the entry-level version. So personally I would get that one. What do you think is the best phone so far this year? Do you think the Nexus or Lenovo or Apple will top it? I love how you skipped one. So for the best phone right now currently you can buy is the Galaxy S7 Edge. That is the best phone. Longest battery life, best camera, great interface, best screen. That is the best one. Will the Nexus top it? Possibly. The Nexus 6P was an amazing phone last year. Can't wait to see what they have coming up next. Could the Lenovo top it? Possibly. Moto has always been great, but they've never been the best, so I don't think they will personally. Will the Apple top it? Definitely a possibility. You did forget also, though, LG with their V series that will come out later in the year. And, of course, the winner for the past 3 years, the Note. The Note has been the best phone for the past 3 years. At the end of each year, the Note has been the best phone. So it's really going to be interesting to see if it will retain its championship. Do you have to turn on NFC when I use Samsung Pay? You only have to turn on NFC if you're using it on an NFC terminal. Otherwise, you do not have to turn it on. However, NFC drains less than 2% of battery life, so turn it on. When do you think the Note 5 will hit its price drop? I do not think the Note 5 will hit its price drop till the summer, probably a month before the Note 6 comes out. Any word on a new version of the LG V10 coming out? No, I would assume we'll get the new version of the LG later on down the line. Does the G5 overheat like the G3? The G5 is not overheated as of yet. However, we've not done stress testing or gaming yet, so we'll see. The iPad versus the Surface, money whoring, they are not at all the same. No, Surface is way better than the iPad for most users. For most users, if you're talking about productivity, the Surface is worlds better than the iPad. The iPad, I would say though, is better as a tablet, but not for productivity. Did you check out the new Edge panels for the S7 Edge? Yeah, I have a lot of them. I reviewed one of them. One of them actually made the 10 hidden features one on there. Do you think Samsung could live without Android if they tried? No, I do not think Samsung could live without Android if they tried, simply because their mobile division is the most profitable for them. So no, they could not. Or at least nowhere near the money they are. I mean, they could, yeah, they could exist, but nowhere near the level that they are right now. When do you think the Note 6 will be released? We said it a couple weeks back. I want to say about a month or so ago. That Sam Mobile reported that it will be coming out in July. Tabpro S or Surface for the same money. Personally, I think that again, for the entry level model, yeah, I might get a Tab Pro S. But quite frankly, the Tab Pro S at that little of a processor isn't good enough for anything that I would want it for. My Surface is an i7 processor with 256 gigs of storage. That is much better than the Surface Pro by far, not even close competition. But so that's what you have to again go over, is that overall, I would say the Surface is going to be the better overall device. Look it up. I think the Note 6 will come out September 7th. It will not release September 7th. Possibility if they still do it at IFA, but my money is that it's going to be before IFA easily this year. Note 5 or iPhone 6s Plus. The Note 5 was better than the iPhone 6s Plus last year. It did about, what do I want to say? Last year, the Note 5 won the best phone of last year, is where the iPhone 6s Plus, I think, came in number 3 or number 4. I think number 4. I have the PNY Power Pack T5209. Have you ever used it, and what is your opinion about it? I mean, any power pack is, good, but for me, since my daily driver is an S7 Edge, the Samsung Quick Charge is going to be faster than even a Qualcomm 3.0 Quick Charge power pack. So for me, that Samsung one would be the best one. Not to say that it wouldn't be. What is your first impression of the HTC 10? Well, I would say that as of right now, I can't really say my first impression because I don't have it yet. Would I say it's a good looking phone? Yes. Would I say it has a lot of potential? Yes. But until I play with it, I can't say exactly how good it is. You skip my question quick. Okay, Kevin. I answered your question on if Samsung could live without Android if it tried. And I answered your tab 3 question, so I'm not sure what question you're referring to. Android or iOS? Because iOS has a lot better support. What's your opinion? iOS, I would say that's a good synopsis. So yeah, iOS completely does have better support. Is it the better operating system? No. Why? Because it can't do as much as Android. Period. Apple can't do as much as Android. It's restricted. And that's because it's one company versus Google and so many other companies. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, look at things like split screen. Look at things like widgets. Look at things like toggles. That it took years for Apple to get that Android had for 10 years almost. Not 10 years because Android came out in 2008. But, it's been out for, I mean, they had it years and years before. So, definitely I would say that easily Android is going to be the better overall OS. iOS is great, if for novice users, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying if you don't know about smartphones, yeah, iOS might be good for you. But if you want to do more, absolutely, it would be Android. Gear S2 app support. Gear S2 app support has gotten better, but I still don't think it's there. Yeah, I just don't think it's there. S7 Edge versus S6 Plus. S7 Edge is easily the better one, easily compared to that one. But it's also unfair because it came out about what 6-7 months after, so it has a lot of advantage of time being having better technology. The S7 Edge will be a more comparable one to the iPhone 7 Plus. Can Android live without Samsung is the question. I answered that question earlier. So Android overall can, can Android live without Samsung? That is a really good question, actually. To be honest, I do not think Android would be as big without Samsung. It is a perfect partnership of hardware and perfect software. You have perfect software on Android and you have the perfect hardware with Samsung. So I truly believe that Android would not be as big without Samsung. But Samsung wouldn't be as big without Android. So it really is a two-way street. Tizen is, a really great thing for emerging markets for when they need to sell a phone about $100, $150. Tizen is great for that for Samsung, so they don't have to pay Google for selling that phone. But that's all Tizen's good for. So have I tried a Tizen-based phone? No. Do I want to? No. Best quick charge power bank. I personally think that the best quick charge power bank is from Tilt. I think they have a great power charger that I personally love. I think the easy mode on Samsung devices is the best and easiest UI to date, better than iOS. Absolutely, Eric. I think it's a great one. I just feel like if you're not elderly, I would say that people feel like insulted by it. I don't know what Samsung could do to make that better, but people, feel that way. At least people that I've talked to in the past. When I've tried to put easy mode on a first time user's phone, they feel like insulted. Like, I don't need something this easy. Well, you said Android was too complicated for you, so I'm giving you something easier. Will would you advise to use Clean Master or any app like that to clean the phone? Are these apps really useful? Clean Master is a great app to get rid of junk and then immediately uninstall. None of those apps are good to constantly run on your phone because they drain more battery life than they get rid of. What would happen if Samsung decided to close production of screens and processors for Apple for release before a release to screw them up? If Samsung did that to Apple, Apple would not have a new phone for 6 months. Absolutely. Samsung has the power to completely stop Apple's production. Completely. They can completely stop their production. They have 5 key parts they get from Samsung. They would absolutely stop production. Not only that, but it's not only iPhones or iPads. It's their MacBooks, it's their iMacs, everything gets parts from Samsung that they make. Could Samsung stop production and completely screw Apple over? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But what would happen? Samsung made about what, 12 billion last year from Apple? That's 12 billion they will no longer get every year. Or 13 or 14 or 15, however much it would go up. Then Apple will take time. I mean, they're going to lose about 6 months easily, definitely. But for a launch, they would be screwed out of a launch. But they're going to buy companies. 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 And with those companies, they will go full on war against Samsung. And they will make screens. They'll make processors. They'll make whatever thing Samsung can make. They'll buy Intel. They'll buy these companies just so that that never happens again. So yes, that would be the aftermath. That would be the entire aftermath. Could you make a giveaway? Like I just said earlier, I only do giveaways during our anniversary for the channel and during the holidays. Can Apple live without Samsung? As I know, Apple uses Samsung chips or whatever, and Apple just places orders on the AMOLED screens from Samsung for iPhone 7s. Why didn't Apple manufacture their own display? Apple doesn't manufacture anything. Apple doesn't make one part of the iPhone. They only make the software. They don't manufacture anything. They are not a manufacturing company. Samsung is. So, as I said earlier, if Samsung wanted to, they can completely screw over Samsung can completely screw over Apple, but the aftermath would be that Apple would turn into a manufacturing company and they will buy every company they need to so that no company ever does that to them again. Do you think smartwatches can pull the same numbers that smartphones do in the next 3 years or so? I think smartwatches will become more popular, but I do not think they'll ever pull the numbers of smartphones simply because people don't do it. Which is better company, Apple or Samsung? Apple is a marketing company that happens to sell technology products. Samsung is a manufacturing company that happens to sell technology products. Neither one is a better company per se, and really just depends on it. It really just depends on your preference. Apple is all for show. They do marketing, again, so they are all about the brand name. Samsung is about having more of a useful product, so that they get and they're willing to give whatever they can to make that product more useful. So two different philosophies. Why Apple is copying Samsung? I'm not sure what you mean by that. What's your current longest daily driver smartphone? I think the Note 4 I had for almost a full year. I think the Note 4 I had for a full year. The Note 5 I had for about 6 months, but the Note 4 I think I lasted a full year with that one. Can Samsung threaten to close production for an iPhone right before release and ask for more money? Absolutely they can. And they'll probably get it. But then, again, Apple will be pissed and you're never going to do that to me again, kind of thing. Do you think Samsung will support their software for... Do you think Samsung will support their software for the Note 5 last 3 or 4 years? No. No, they'll support it for 2 years, but that's about it. What do you think about the Gear S3 will be like? Do you recommend the Gear S2? I think the Gear S3 will be a Gear S2 smaller and bigger. I think they're going to make 2 versions this time. At least that's what I hope they do. And hopefully they're going to get more apps this time at launch. Use the same interface as the Gear S2. Don't reinvent the wheel, as it's so to speak. So yeah. What's the best place to sell a Note 5 in 2 months to get the money for the Note 6? I personally still use eBay. There's lots of different apps though for it now. Smartphones, so you always have to be wary of. So yeah. Current daily driver is the S7 Edge. I am testing, so my current daily driver is the S7 Edge, and then my secondary device that I'm testing right now is the LG G5. Alright guys, we'll call that a show. It went a little bit over an hour today, and I still have to do a couple more videos, so we will call that a show. Thank you as always for watching. Before you close the screen, please give a like, thumbs up down below. It really helps me out. Thank you as always for watching. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.